What's up, everybody? Welcome to a kind of funny live reaction of the Destiny 2 reveal event for June 9th, 2020. I, of course, am one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside Destiny 2 Super Fran, FM3 underscore from Twitch, Fran Mirabella III. How are you, Fran?
Good morning, everyone. Very excited.
And then on top of that, of course, it wouldn't be a first-person shooter if we didn't have the Hispanic heartthrob, Texas treat, Latino heat, clicking heads and ripping them to shreds, the globe-trotting, head-shotting nitro rifle from Twitch.tv, Andy Cortez.
Greg, you know what my sole purpose here. I was gonna say sole porpoise.
Sole porpoise from our chat.
Subscriber.
Your sole purpose. I'm sorry.
I'm just here to click heads. You know,
that's all you're here to do. That's you were born to do it, and I respect it, and I appreciate that about you, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Destiny and Bungie themselves are doing a live stream revealing the future of Destiny. Fran, what are you expecting as the Destiny expert?
Yeah, they haven't officially said it, but I would expect them to actually show us what is coming this fall. The big thing, if you're not aware, is they also haven't showed us what is happening.
Oh, hold on, too. We're doing this. The countdown ended and went into this. This is a moment of silence you were talking about?
Mm-hmm.
This is like what Nickelodeon did.
Right. Of course. This is for George Floyd, of course, murdered in Minnesota by a police officer. Obviously, I think you probably know about it. Kevin, if you want a full screen, we'll watch along with this and be quiet.
I love this. This is smart. I love this.
I just said we'd be quiet, Andy.
Sorry.
That was fucking awesome. Kudos to Bungie on that. That's a powerful opening. And like, obviously everybody's in this race for viewership and subscriptions and everything else you're talking about, right? Like, time is money and all that jazz. Like, that's not the normal way you'd open a press conference, and that takes balls. Good job on them.
Just like Blessing said, if you're uncomfortable, that's so much of the Black experience is living uncomfortably.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Mark Norsworthy. I'm the Destiny 2 general manager.
I'm Luke Smith, and I'm the Destiny 2 game director.
Before we started the show today, we wanted to just acknowledge the circumstances and the unprecedented times we're in. This is not how we had planned this several months ago to talk about the future of Destiny 2 and reveal where we're headed with the team. This show's not how we planned it. We're building the game, not how we planned it, from our living rooms and basements and with our kids and our dogs and all sorts of stuff on our laps while we're trying to make this game.
Yeah, there's like an inherent weirdness to this. Even the weirdness of this is the first time I've seen you in person in the last probably 3 months, and I don't know if people know, but outside of the show that is work, those are actually pretty close. Like, we hang out, we talk all the time. Our significant others are buddies, and so. It's super weird just to see you in person.
Yeah, not on a screen.
This is from
not
May.
on this little Zoom screen on an iPad or something. It's just totally bizarre.
Yeah.
This is not how we envisioned this, and certainly our hope was that it would be more than just us two talking about this stuff. And over the course of the summer, a bunch more folks from the team are gonna talk about what we're up to and what we're gonna be up to.
Let's get the show started.
Right. They might just open with big trailer drop. Probably.
Now, Fran, Destiny 2 happens in space, correct?
And on Earth too, Greg.
Can you confirm or deny that?
Andy, your mic's a little low. Also, Fran, is the Traveler bad or good?
We don't know entirely, but so far so good.
Traveler gave us our powers, right? The light.
Yes. As far as we know.
God gave me my powers.
Thank you, Kevin.
So these are all okay. Yeah, those were just little bits from teasers we saw, but now we're seeing. This is the first we've seen
It's
anything
all sort of tied together right now.
of this. This is all brand new CG that they've been. This is what the teasers have been based on. These two characters have been heading to some new location, which is rumored to be the ice moon of Jupiter, Europa, which has long been leaked as part of future Destiny content, as part of that Activision 10-year plan, sort of.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But this is the first we're seeing what is maybe going on, and I still don't know if this pertains to this season, today, which starts in an hour, or this fall.
Is the future thing, yeah. So what are you expecting out of this? You're expecting to know what's happening, obviously, today with the new season, but then also what the fall expansion is going to be?
Yeah, that's what's interesting about this. They're not only revealing something's going on with the story today, that something big's happened. The darkness has been coming. These Dorito ships, as they're called, these black triangle ships. Yeah, right here. This is the sound cue for the ships I'm talking about. And
The
this
ones
is the
that have
Drifter.
been teased for ages and ages, it feels like.
Ages, absolutely. So, Erisborn is meeting the Drifter right now. Oh, wow. Is that... So, I'm not a lore guy. I'm never good with this. Is this the Stranger? No.
Whoa.
That's a cool ghost.
That's a cool
This
one.
is what I brought you here to see.
I think this is the Stranger.
Yeah,
this
people
is
in
this
the chat are
character.
trying to yell for Stranger.
This character is also from Destiny 1. Destiny 2 Beyond Light. Okay. Okay, the fall expansion. There you go. The Stranger has brought us to Europa, it would seem. They still haven't confirmed that, obviously, to see what's going
September.
on.
This
This-
is
that's
that's
huge.
Listen,
22nd, was it, Greg?
Said that we were done with the Stranger story, and as you get back into Destiny and you keep looking around and finding stones to uncover, a character who says that she's not forged in light, and where the two of you meet, ground can break, becomes a pretty interesting tool to leverage here in Destiny 2 Beyond Light and going forward. It is the beginning of a brand new era in Destiny 2. This fall, you're going to discover Europa, a brand new destination, and one of the first destinations
Not
we
Europe,
envisioned
Greg.
long ago when
Fuck,
Destiny
really? I was going to make the joke. I've already been there.
the EXO and the site of a newly active pyramid ship. As a player, you're going to face Aramis, a fallen warrior wielding a brand new power born from a very ancient darkness.
Like you, Aramis is a leader, but unlike you, she seeks revenge against the Traveler first, scattering her people's once great houses to the cosmic winds.
It's up to you to confront Aramis and her growing empire on the frozen battlegrounds of Europa. And it's up to you to go beyond and discover long dormant secrets hidden beneath the surface in places lost to time, like
The Deep Stone Crypt.
yes, there you go.
That one I
Lore
heard of.
corner.
That one I heard of, yeah.
Doing
Lore
it.
corner.
There's a lot more to Europa than you might imagine. And here's your first look at gameplay from Destiny 2 Beyond Light.
Ooh,
hope
sweet.
they're
So yeah, this means whole new planet and location to
Where I
go
come
to,
from,
which
the
is
Darkness One.
awesome. We haven't gotten that
I've
since
witnessed this firsthand.
2018.
I refuse
Wow, really?
to let it happen again. It's time the truth presented itself to you. Darkness resides within, beckoning you. This is a truth we cannot hide from. And so we must embrace it.
I'm trying to spot if there's going to be like new enemies. Hit with it.
The line between light and dark is so very thin. Let's cross
Wow,
it
they're
together.
Frozen.
Beyond the light.
That's a sick ass graphic color scheme.
I was gonna say, Andy, how you feeling about these purples and pinks?
Loving it. Oh man, loving it.
I will give these guardians the destruction they crave.
This must be Aramis.
So
I mean, it
no new
looks
enemies,
cool.
Fran. Just sort of more modified.
Darkness. We've been waiting.
I don't know
Destiny
yet.
2 Beyond Light ships to all currently supported platforms on September 22nd this year. And it kicks
All
off a new
currently
era of
supported.
Destiny where players will discover the true nature of the light and the dark. Not just walking the thin line between, but wielding the darkness itself as a weapon with stasis.
And we did just get like a very brief look at that.
This might be a new
today, and,
subclass.
You know, obviously,
Got
we're
it.
going to end up showing more throughout the course of the summer. And the other thing is Stasis, this new power, isn't just going to be Guardian's supers and abilities.
This
It's
is
a
big,
brand new
too.
damage type. So that means it's going to ultimately sit alongside Solar, Arc, and Void as the first
you
new
go.
element we've introduced to the game since the original Destiny release way back in 2014.
This is a big deal. Like,
That's
it's a big deal
pretty
to
big,
add
yeah.
this to the universe. It changes everything.
And it's a lot of work. Today, yeah, you got a glimpse of this
love
new
it.
power, and it's definitely the pursuit and acquisition.
Oh, that's what
and
was
the
going on
player's
with that.
ability to wield it. It's something that's gonna be woven in through the narrative of the game. Like the game is kind of a collision course between you and Aramis, and we're gonna show you a bunch more about Stasis later in the year.
Because though we're excited about what we're delivering this fall, we did say that Destiny 2 Beyond Light was the beginning of a new era.
What does that mean? Well, it means that we're thinking about Destiny beyond just any given year and thinking about it over time. And so we want to take a look into kind of the long future of Destiny. But when
me
you
some
want to look
PlayStation 5
ahead,
footage.
like we're about to do,
Right?
it all starts back at the beginning.
Give me that 60 frames per
Oh, they're
second
bringing
on
back. They're
console.
bringing back Peter Dinklage.
God.
We're going back to the beginning.
Oh wow, bringing back the old music.
Man.
We called it
What a-
Remember this trailer?
the Traveler, and its arrival changed us forever.
Destiny 1's coming to Switch.
That is not what they're saying.
You must push back the darkness.
Just let Greg be excited,
Guardians
Fran.
are fighting
I
on
know,
Earth
right?
and beyond.
Beyond.
Join them.
Yeah, there was the stranger. That was the first appearance all those years ago.
Into the pit.
That's how like the first story ended, right?
In the end, they all bowed before
It was in the middle, I thought.
Fran, are they about to do
It's-
Destiny Remaster or whatever, where I can go play Destiny 1 again?
We have murdered his son.
I don't know.
And now
We're getting like
going?
WoW classic style. That's
Can't-
No, I,
us all.
Can't you go play Destiny 1 now?
Well, you can play the old Destiny one.
Be quiet,
You can play the old Destiny. It's still, no, I mean, it's still online. I mean, they're just recapping. So, you know, obviously important they talk about what is in the future of Destiny. Like, this is the big part that everybody wants to hear. Like, I feel like you guys are probably in this camp of like, you know, you've known what Destiny is forever, but it hasn't like caught your eye to like, why should I jump back in or even jump in? So I hope they talk about that a little, which seems like maybe a little bit of what this is about. I don't know why they're giving us all the years.
I think they're trying to show you, like, if you're like...
Just the evolution.
Yeah, and I think it's part too of just like embracing the fact that they do actually have a history here. Like, I know that sounds silly for somebody like you that plays it all the time, but even for me, where it's like, oh yeah, Destiny 2, I platinum it, I had a great time, I played a bunch of hours, and then to be like, oh my god, that was the first trailer from, what was that, 2013? Like, shit, fuck, I forgot it's been around that long.
That's a good point. And that it is a rich world.
Yeah, totally.
There's a lot.
This is why people are into it, right? Here's all the stuff that they're doing, what's going on.
But I don't know, maybe it's, I mean,
Been there.
it's possible what you just said. That would be huge. It's funny because there's been a bunch of leaks overnight. And I haven't seen anything, thankfully. So this is all intentionally pure reacts. If Marasov. Yeah, this is from a couple years back now.
Yeah, that's the last
Forsaken.
time that I played Forsaken.
Right, and that was the last time we got that new planet, the Dreaming City.
I actually tried to hop back in last year and just was not feeling it.
With this content, yeah, Shadowkeep right here, where they remastered the moon. But that thing you just saw, that was the first tease
For our collapse. Our coming
of this
back.
darkness coming. Or not the first tease, but the first big moment with it.
We are your salvation.
The line
Oh, I forgot about
between
that.
Light and dark is so very thin.
All right, tell us what's going on.
Do you know which side you're on?
That's the Dorito ship you're talking about, right?
Yeah, these things have been
2021, Fran,
looming
they're talking about the future, I'm sorry.
for years. Whoa, what? Wow, this is like surprising
Side should always be taken,
that they're gonna tell you
2022,
this
Fran!
out.
even if it's the wrong side.
Wow, it will still be Destiny 2 in
We're building
2022.
Destiny's future
This
today,
is
right
huge.
Inside of Destiny 2. It starts with Beyond Light coming.
I've
this
never
fall.
done this.
It's going to continue with the next major expansion, the Witch Queen, and Lightfall is going to kind
got
of drive
goosebumps,
this
man.
all to a moment. These three releases represent this new era in Destiny. These eras began really in 2014 with that era of light where, you know, players entered Destiny for the first time. They were resurrected. They went to the tower. They learned about the things the children were scared of. And, you know, we exited that era when we became Guardians.
We are now coming out of an era of loss of our powers, one of our mentors, our innocence, and soon we will be entering an era of darkness. And if it's not clear, we are all in on Destiny 2.
Last year, we laid out a vision for the game that we wanted to build the definitive action MMO, place it in an awesome evolving world that you can play anytime, anywhere with your friends. We are still completely committed to this ambitious vision, and we're going to continue reaching to deliver it in Destiny 2. And to be clear, listen, I'm sure like over here in the Twitch chat, there's like, you know, some mix of salt and space dad. You know, we haven't gotten everything right out of the gate. You know, for example, we've already begun working on changes that we're going to make to our seasonal model in year 4 to get a bunch of the FOMO that's in the game right now out of it. And this is a response not only to your feedback, but just, you know, we took it in the wrong direction. You can lay that at me.
Yeah, quit talking shit.
We're
Twitch.
also working on things like transmog, and that's going to be an experience that means armor is kind of always valuable to you because it can always represent a look for you to chase. And we've got a bunch of other improvements to the experience that we're working on. Things like the quest log's going to get like another awesome revision. We've got like small touches, like a oft requested one. And I think when we started Beyond Light, this was one that I made to Mike Zach in you know the
Yeah, getting a dark title screen back in Destiny so that the light white heat of the title screen doesn't light up your entire apartment at 2 a.m. So there are the small
No,
features.
I like that.
But then there's also some
I need it.
big features, and maybe one of the
That's my
biggest
cam
is
lighting.
next generation support.
I think the
we
most
go.
exciting
There
thing
you
we're
go,
going to
Greg.
talk about is the game's going to run at 60 frames per second and 4K resolution on the new hardware.
We're also really happy to say that
4K
whatever
60 even.
content you already own or will own in Destiny 2 will come with you to your next generation console of choice at no extra charge. On PlayStation, you'll be able to upgrade to PlayStation 5 for free, and on Xbox, we will support smart delivery also for free. In plain English,
Wow.
this means
Upgrade
if
on
you
both.
own Destiny 2 expansion content on those platforms now or in the future or by Beyond Light in September, you can keep playing on the same family consoles for free without buying the expansions again. We think that's going to be awesome.
Wow.
And you don't
really
have to
big.
worry about busting up your friends list either, because we're going to support intergenerational crossplay within each console platform ecosystem as well. This means
Damn.
that if your brother's playing on PS4 and your sister's playing on PS5, all three of you can play together. And we're going to do the same thing in the Xbox ecosystem. This year we're focused on intergenerational play. Hopefully next year we can finally do the thing and get them all playing together in the same icosystem.
Yes.
So yeah, no Xbox
So Shadowkeep
PS
was cool,
crossplay.
and
Yeah.
Shadowkeep brought back the moon and upgraded and enhanced it. And so we brought a destination out of the vault and spruced it up, and that's where you got to play. We're not doing that with this fall's destination, Europa. It's a brand new place you've never been before. And both the Witch Queen and Lightfall are going to also include brand new, never before seen destinations. These expansions will stretch out across a timeline that's going to bring much anticipated enemies to the forefront and hopefully deliver some twists, turns, drama that we don't think anyone's going to see coming.
But to deliver these big content beats each and every year and keep building on top of our seasonal experiences while making technological leaps forward, we also need to make some big changes to the way we treat some of our older legacy content.
The stuff that maybe is getting a little long in the tooth that you're not really looking at and playing anymore. You're not
Destiny 2 is a huge game. We have 9 destinations, 40 story missions, 54 adventures, 42 lost sectors, 17 strikes, 31 PvP maps, 7 raids, and hundreds of game systems that layer on top of that.
Just
I
cut out
could
the
go
PvP,
on.
am I right,
And
Fran?
I probably screwed up one
Hey
of those
now.
numbers. The fact is, the game is too large to efficiently update and maintain. We're on track to be like 115 gigabytes on PlayStation alone, and our updates
Yeah,
to the
this
game
has been
are
the question, what are they
huge,
gonna
and
get
we're
rid
starting
of?
to reach the limits of our ability to patch.
We don't want to start over from scratch and build a sequel. And in order to make a sequel,
Get
we
rid
would
of
have to
Nolan
stop
North's
supporting
VO.
Destiny 2. Like, it would effectively go dark.
You know, we talked
No
about
one
a
enough
single
to call
evolving
you now.
world, a
Just talking.
single evolving world, not multiple evolving worlds, but a single evolving world. And we don't want people to have to start over. We don't want to have that loss of continuity with our game systems and our communities and all the players together.
We don't want to put another number on the box. So instead, here's our plan. Each year, just as a new expansion comes out, we're going to cycle older, less actively played activity and destination content out of the live game and into what we're calling the Destiny Content Vault, the DCV. Moving content into this vault is going to allow us to add
Even
support
Luke
for
can't get
D2
through with
for
a straight
years,
face.
including Beyond Light, the Witch Queen, and Lightfall. This vault is also going to allow us to take content from Destiny 1, do some work on it, get it ready to come back into the Destiny 2 ecosystem. So we're not just going to be taking stuff away, we're also going to be going into the classic vault and kind of bringing some stuff back or unvaulting activity and destination content each year.
Thinking about the greatest hits of Destiny, right? Like, what are the new tracks we can lay down? What's something from the past that was like pretty cool that could be made even better if it existed
So they're gonna have a
today?
separate thing you
What
can
does that look like?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
go
that people-
play.
There's a lot of awesome
That's
stuff.
not
that
part of the main
team has
experience?
Built over the 6 years of
That's
making
not what I took away
Destiny
from it.
and that Destiny 2 players totally have missed out on. Like later this year, Destiny 1's Cosmodrome is coming back this fall as a selectable
See?
destination. Its 3 strikes are also going to come back during season 12 and season 13. And part of the awesome thing here is a bunch of players haven't played Sepix. Sepix was the strike from the beta
Yeah.
way back in like summer 2014. It is the oldest,
It's like the
most
definitive like original strike that we
Yeah.
felt like hit the right notes
yeah,
in Destiny 1, right? And we left all that behind when we made Destiny 2. And we're saying, like, we don't want to do that again. Well, let's not do that again, but let's also reach into the past and, like, bring it into the present.
But there's a lot of great content in our past, and maybe this year we'll see a classic raid come back. I think it'd be pretty amazing this year to see the Vault of Glass kind of unvaulted and returning.
Wow.
Coming
Like, I can imagine things like champion Praetorians instead of just regular Praetorians, and kind of updating it slightly to the modern context, but still preserving that like classic feel.
This fall when the expansion comes out, not only are we going to be bringing back Cosmodrome and adding Europa, but we're going to look at some of that content that's been in the game for a long time, that's been free, that isn't actively played, and that's when some of that is going to be vaulted.
Well, after the show, we're going to have a much more in-depth article that you can read on our plans for vaulting content on Bungie.net, and why we're taking this unprecedented approach and what it means for the game this year and for the game going forward. We're also going to be conducting a bunch of interviews to answer your big questions, and we will continue the conversation with coverage in our ongoing This Week at Bungie community conversations, as well as there will be a bunch of player support and DPS articles about this all summer long. You know, we've placed a bunch of bets on the Destiny Cosmic board, whether it's the Traveler waking up, whether it's the Stranger dissolving after telling you, you know, there's so much more to explore out there. And so we're going to start to bring a bunch of these threads home, and here's a look at the beginning of those threads coming home to roost this summer in Season of Arrivals.
The live event from this weekend.
And with allies like Rasputin, who can stop us?
From Titan to Mercury, their shadow reaches.
Is their message a warning? A trick? We can't know until we hear their words for ourselves. You bring weapons. You will not need them. We offer only truth.
The darkness reached out, but something interferes. The witch sister of the taken king, Savathun.
Oh, that's cool. That's what Witch Sister's about. Yeah.
We are the final line.
It's all about family.
Second collapse.
Alright, so is this...
Prepare yourself, Guardian. This battle is not over.
That's what's starting today, is what they just showed there, I believe. So that was a quick peek at the new, like, event.
Of Arrivals, and it starts any minute now at 10 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
So today,
30 minutes from
we
now.
looked at a bunch of stuff. We talked about the Destiny content vault. We looked into the past to see kind of how we got to where we are today. We looked into the far future with the Witch Queen and Lightfall. And we also talked about Beyond Light, which is the beginning of a new era in Destiny 2. And if pre-ordering's kind of your thing, like the pre-orders are going to go live today. Like if you're interested, there's some sweet bonuses, and you know that's kind of the summary of the show.
If you're excited about the start of Beyond Light and where we're headed, well, the Season of Arrivals, it's kind of like a prelude. You know, it's really setting up that story, and so we encourage you to get in and play.
There's one more thing I totally forgot. So.
Just one more thing.
At 5 p.m. Pacific, we're going to launch a brand new dungeon called Prophecy. Prophecy is a dungeon that involves the Nine, and that's kind of like all I'm going to say about it, because there's a little bit of business to get to with it, and then we'll wrap.
5 p.m. Pacific time, they said?
It's got a brand new set of armor for you to chase. It's got some classic armor for you to chase. It's going to be at a really high power level, which means it's like a solid day's work plus a little bit of skill to summit that mountain.
It's free for all players.
It's free for all players. And we're going to show you a trailer in just a second. If you don't want to see anything from the dungeon, just click the little red X or like get up and go have drink an omelet and then come back and the stream will be over and you can play Season of Arrivals in Destiny 2.
Fran doesn't want spoilers.
Business side, right? We're like there. We've handled everything.
I think it's the time.
This won't be major
spoilers. For
spoilers.
tuning in and giving us your time today, and just for playing Destiny and being part of this amazing community.
It has and it will continue to be a journey. On behalf of everyone at Bungie, please, 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 stay safe. out there, and we'll see you soon.
Andy, do you like these outfits?
I do.
Prophecy. This is interesting. It's free for everybody. Wow. This is going to be a cool dungeon, man.
Were dungeons behind the paywall before?
Yeah, I thought so. This is going to be a really cool setting. The 9 there's a really weird race. This is going to be wild. This looks so cool.
This stuff looks awesome.
This is a big break from all the style of what we've been playing lately.
Yeah, I noticed you said thank God when you said that.
The dungeon. Yeah, I can explain that. It's about new content ultimately and how much we get during the summer.
I also thought that they were playing a version of the Pixies Where's My Mind. But they are not. But it sounds like it.
Where is my 9? This is about the 9. Never mind.
Pretty good.
I got 9 on it. See what I did there?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you. Came up with that right off the top of my head. I don't mean to brag, guys.
So I think
that's the end.
That's the end.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in Twitch chat, people like calling challenge accepted. You say dope armor. What do you guys think of everything we just saw for Destiny 2 Beyond the Light? And of course, just the future of Destiny 2. Let us know right now. Let's get into our post-game report. Fran Mirabella III from the DCP podcast. How do you feel about everything you just saw?
A lot to process still. Yeah, I was still trying to put together some stuff. But the short of it was we got our fall expansion reveal. September 22nd, right? The new content coming to us. We now have a release date on the big next year of content for Destiny. So that was huge to actually get that for sure. And totally unexpected to hear about 2021 and 2022. They committed to names. And that is something that we haven't really seen, I think, since the launch of Destiny. But even then, we've never seen this far out. So for them to commit to these are the next few years of content, we're putting it out there right now. That's how committed we are. And here are the themes. That's huge for fans.
I think, as a student of the game, somebody who's watched so many conferences and so many presentations and directs and stuff, this, and I would say, and I'm thinking, and I don't want to speak out of complete turn, but I would say out of the quarantine times we've been in, this is the most, they crushed this. This was a home run, I think, in terms of presentation, in terms of content, in terms of talking to an audience. Obviously, starting with the George Floyd 8.5 minutes, that was a brilliant move, I think, that shows so much respect, and obviously they have a message and they're going to give it to us. And then going in and having Luke start off by talking about, like, this isn't how we wanted to film this, obviously, 6 feet apart. I haven't seen you in so long. We haven't seen enough, I feel, of people acknowledging how fucked up our current situation is in just the quarantine part. Obviously, that was filmed in May before everything happened with George Floyd. But even beyond that, right, to go in there and have the conversation that Bungie has been having, to continue that conversation, right, of we are this action MMORPG, we're not under Activision anymore, we can say that now. On top of that, when they laid out their first thing, Luke acknowledges the chat, and he's like, I know you guys are mad about X, Y, and Z. We haven't gotten it right all the time. This is something we're building with you. And then on top of that, to go, as you said, Fran, into 2021, into 2022, it's a little bit what people always say they want from the in games similar to the movie industry, where we know a long-term plan. And I think for a game like Destiny 2 that is asking for such a commitment, and part of it is the investment in your history, knowing that it's going to go out that far goes so far. Yeah, and big news, if you already have some of this content and own it, if I understood it right, they're saying if you own on PS4 the current stuff, you're just gonna be able to play that on PS5 with just like that. That's what. Yes, because as usual, said, right? Guess what? Smart delivery. Well, that's it. Smart delivery is just a fucking buzzword, I guess. I don't understand. I know. You know what I mean? Smart delivery for Xbox, and then he's like a free upgrade for PlayStation 5. So. Because that's their trademark, right? The buzzword is now Microsoft's for smart delivery. But that's interesting because we haven't heard, we're here on Thursday from PlayStation a little more on that. Yeah. But this is almost, is this the first thing we've heard about happening that way?
It's the first time I've heard intergenerational, which is like,
that was cool. Okay, that was really, really cool.
This is like, we're going to start to hear that a lot from now on, I feel like.
Yeah, to be able, and that if I got that right too, you'll be able to play on PS4 with folks who are playing on PS5. Did I hear that right as well?
Yes.
Right now, yeah.
And on Xbox.
They're focusing this year, they said, on
intergenerational
play. Next year, they hope to figure it out as a cross-play for everybody playing together in terms of Xbox to PlayStation.
Yep. But that's cool that you guys are excited. I mean, maybe before diving in like the nitty-gritty, right, as folks who don't play a ton of it, the big thing that I continue to hear is like, I don't know where to start with this game, and I don't know what's going on. I like the world of Destiny, but I don't know if I'll jump back in. How are you guys feeling? Just seeing, how it looks, because it's mostly
it looks beautiful.
Probably, is that what you heard out of it? Like, what did you get out of what's coming?
I think it always looks beautiful. I think it's just more of a matter of, is this enough of a big leap for me to come back in to sort of a starting point where it'll be easier for me to understand? Not that I've always grasped all the relationships and all the different factions and all the different worlds of Destiny. I feel like sometimes it can kind of go over my head. But I've said this a lot on a bunch of different games casts back in the day, but I always jump back into Destiny when there is a huge, big reason to jump back in. Will this be that reason? I don't know, because again, we all hopped into 2018, which was Warmind. I already forget all the expansion names.
Yeah, maybe you hopped in. Forsaken was the one with Dreaming City. If that's when you hopped in September. Yeah. And a lot of people.
The one last year is the one that I tried hopping in, and for whatever reason, sort of replaying in the moon and all that was neat and had cool feelings of nostalgia tied to it. But the issue that I had with it was it didn't feel as good to play. I think because I had come off of playing a lot of Apex and a lot of Borderlands, and I just feel like the gunplay felt better there for whatever reason. And a lot of people call me crazy, but it didn't feel as good. But Fran, I'm on that PC now, baby.
Right? Yeah. Maybe that's
I'm on that mouse and keyboard.
Well, maybe that was it. Maybe you were playing like the newer shooters at 60 frames a second, which they're addressing on the new consoles and stuff. But yeah, like, is that? I guess what I'm hearing from you is just the fact that at the very least that it's fresh and a new planet, but also with the new tech coming on PS5 and Xbox Series X, that might bring in some players just on that.
Greg, where are you at?
I think I'm always just somebody who's saying, hey, do you want to play some Destiny away from playing Destiny? Like, you know what I mean? I platinum Destiny 2, walked away, came back really briefly for one of the expansions, and then, really recently did a charity stream with Andrea and CJ from Bungie and played Crucible stuff there, which is not my jam at all. I love Destiny. I think Destiny's super cool, super fun. I am more into the camp Fran was talking about of like, I have no idea what the narrative is right now or where we're going, but that dungeon they just dropped or are dropping at 10 o'clock looked awesome. And it is that thing of like, that does make me go, huh. Should I download that and go see if I could actually get into that tonight? Could Fran show me what the hell to do and what I need?
I don't know if I can get into that. And that does really, I think the dungeon's at 5 p.m. Pacific time, I think is what I heard. The update
you're right. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. The update for the season drops at 10 and then the dungeon's at 5. You're right.
Which is interesting. Yeah, I mean, maybe. So to break down a few things again, I think for folks watching, Season of Arrivals, they haven't told us anything about it. In fact, I'm still not knowing a ton based on what they just showed. It came by so fast. So there's some new event going on that I just didn't have enough time to process as we're doing the show here. So you'll get that, but it is really big news. And Andy said, why did you say thank God, but noted that I said it.
Yeah.
That the dungeon is coming at 5 p.m. So what happens in the seasonal content, especially in the summertime, is like, frankly, they're stretched thin, usually as a development team, and you only get so much content per season. There's only so much that goes on versus the stuff that is coming out in the fall. Like fall is always your big meaty release, but then they've had this seasonal stretch across the year. And so it's hard to know what to expect in terms of the amount of content. A dungeon is a pretty meaty experience. They sort of describe it as a raid for 3 people. Raids take 6 people to get together. This you can do with 3, and it's challenging. There's a lot of puzzles involved. They're usually really nice labors of love, and you can earn awesome stuff. And so anyway, I was surprised to see that. A lot of, for comparison, if you're familiar with strikes, right? You load in as a team of 3. You heard them talking about that. They got so many strikes now, but it's been so many years. And every season, frankly, I think the audience wants at least one more strike, right? But they obviously take a long time to create, and we usually only get new strikes in the fall updates with the way it's been going. So that's why I had that reaction. It's like, whoa, a dungeon. Wow, awesome. So that's a big drop for fans where I was pretty much expecting refer to them usually as like a public event. They've had these events that basically, right, 6 people can just easily load into and shred a bunch of enemies that are unique for the season. But there's only been so much to do there, and actually the last season, a lot of folks were not super happy with what you were doing. You basically tossed these energy balls at a little, floating other ball in the sky that went across this beam, and you charged it up, and you defended the towers. It was sort of a tower defense, on the ground, and people kind of got bored of that and what you earned out of it. So, I don't have anything really to say about this season because I'm gonna have to play it. Sure. But the dungeon being in there though is a big drop, and the fact that it's free for everybody. I can't remember now if maybe the previous ones were, but still.
Andy Cortez, kind of funny, has a question.
Thank you so much, Greg Miller. No, I'm just reading this sort of Twitter thread that Jason Schreier is retweeting and bringing back into today, where in 2019, January 2019, he talked about how stoked Activision or Bungie was to leave Activision, and then today he quote tweeted that tweet back in 2019 and said, one major tension point between Bungie and Activision back when they were still together was the fight over games as a service that Bungie preferred versus annualized sequels, which is what Activision preferred, which is why Bungie just made it clear that Destiny 3 is no longer a thing.
Right. Yeah. And that is huge that they've, for a long time, I've been sort of predicting that in fall of 2021, maybe we'll get the bit, whatever the big next update is, because I sort of, at some point, I still sort of expect like an engine update. And
sure. Yeah.
And we're going to get a little bit of that with the next gen consoles, but like a full like unplug. And normally the cleanest way to do that is just a full on sequel. It seems like they're making it clear like that's not the route. So they'll still have some unplugging to do, I think. And we're hearing about this vault and stuff too. So it's almost like piecemeal, dismantling and replacing as they go.
I did notice some people in chat saying like, I thought we wouldn't have 4K 60 on the next gen consoles. You got to keep in mind that, they are still running an older engine with older tech, and it's easier to get that sort of level of performance on older engines as opposed to here's this brand new engine that will only be meant for next gen. It's going to be harder to reach 60 on console if you're trying to get 4K in that case. But in this case, we're essentially getting, it's almost like Destiny remastered in a way on the new console.
Well, you're saying that because the assets are like not super high res, right, Andy?
Well,
versus
exactly,
optimizing,
and
right?
Also lighting engines and everything that else goes into it.
Yeah.
Real quick in the chat too, Burgers B says, Fran, Greg, Andy, do the dungeon tonight. What do you say, boys?
Oh my god, I wouldn't even know where to start, dude.
That's the thing. We get in there, we don't know. We're bumbling idiots. We see what we can do.
I would love to do that. From the sound of it, they said that it's going to take a high power level.
I've got to have it.
So, like, even I didn't max out on the last season. I'm close, but like, I wonder if I can even get in there without getting beat up. So it sounds to me like it's for like the folks who really going to do a big power climb, but it is free content. I mean, it's too early to say. It looks really cool. I feel like we should back up and talk about the fall stuff still. I don't know if we have time for that still, but
I don't know if you know, like we have all the time in the world. It's our channel.
Let's do. I'm on the show. I'm on Games Daily after this with Imran.
I'm sure Imran's watching, and if it goes to 10:15, he's going to understand.
Exactly, but I want to make sure that everybody, if you're just tuning in or you're like, wait, can you please still break that down for me? Right, we know that it's coming in the fall, a new expansion, and we know 2021, 2022 with Witch Queen. And then Lightfall. By the way, Witch Queen, that was the one with the green, very Eris Morn's like looking witchcraft symbol. That's coming next year, but it is notable if you didn't catch it that Taken King, if you remember that release, was the second year of Destiny 1.
That big old sword, Greg.
I remember.
Yeah, so Oryx, this huge, boss that was part of that. What we learned in that is he has sisters. And so Sabbathan is one of these sisters who you've interacted with for a long time. This is huge for fans that are excited about the lore on that front. So that's why even just giving the name goes a little deeper than a logo for fans. So that's cool. But the biggest thing here, actually, as I'm scanning my notes to talk about, would be we're getting a new subclass. So right, you've got blue arc energy, right? Electricity, sort of. You've got solar fire energy, and you've got void, the purple, somewhat magical energy.
Sucks. I don't know what it does.
Void just sort of sucks you.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a big purple orb. It's my favorite thing to use. Yeah, as the warlock.
We haven't got this since Destiny 1 where we unlocked the third subclass, right? Which obviously they planned from a very early stage. And so this is apparently called Stasis, and they talk about it wielding the darkness. So yeah, it seems like this new race is bringing us some new powers, which now that I'm like scanning back in my mind through the trailer, I was seeing, I think that enemies would get sort of like, they almost looked frozen to me, right? And I was thinking because the ice planet, like, I'll have to watch it again. I might be totally wrong here, but it looks to me like Stasis, from the name of the sound, is a little bit of frozen in time, so to speak. But I don't know. I can't be sure. But it's huge for fans because, you know, what happens, right, is you get, not only do you get this new quadrant of energy type for yourself, within that, there's normally like trees, 3 trees specifically. So you have all these superpowers, 3 of them usually per class, that totally change the way you play the game. And so it really is an upgrade when you think about you have 9 trees to choose from, you know, today. For them to add another 3 on top of that is going to be big in the way we play.
That adds so much balancing issues. I cannot imagine.
Exactly.
It just adds a multitude of problems all across the board. I see this comment from Torbanok, who Dr. Lupo is actually interviewing Luke Smith right now on Twitch, and he said Lupo's stream just said that the fish thing the stranger had is not a ghost.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a ghost.
It looks cool,
I don't know what it is, but it looks awesome.
I want one. I want one.
Fish.
Yeah,
I want one as long as I don't have to feed it. Like
pets.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is, and I have no idea of the accuracy of this. I swear somebody was talking about pets in Destiny to me. So I don't know if that has anything to do with that. So don't take that too far. But it did come up somewhere, and I'm like, wait, is that like their pet? Are you gonna have a pet? I don't know. But I was also going to say real fast on getting the darkness, the stasis. The other side of it is, and that's, you heard me comment on, I'm like, what's up with the new enemies? But if they're wielding these new powers as well somehow, or infused with the darkness and so on, just fighting a new power type, right? Because what happens is you might have a chance to wield the electricity, the arc, but the game, of course, the way any RPG is designed is, are you resistant to that same type? And what happens when the enemies are using arc orbs and so on? So to have a whole new power there to play with, which hopefully, you know, the current enemy sets gets infused with that somehow as we go along, and just hopefully expands there. But more than anything, and I'm not sure if I saw it in there, maybe chat can help me out. Did we see any new enemy types for sure? I didn't really spot anything.
Think so. And if we did, I feel like the Luke Smith would have done some sort of, he would have mentioned them. He would have said, hey guys, this is what you've been wanting. Yeah. You know, we haven't had a new enemy type in forever. We've had these sort of modified enemies, right? We've had like the what's the fucking black and sort of ghost type enemies where everybody sort of, it's just,
those are the Taken.
Yeah, like but there's like a Taken version of the other enemies, and there's always like these modified versions, and they sort of change stuff up. But we haven't had an actual new enemy type ever, right? Like it's
we did. Actually, we did get it with Forsaken. Actually, Forsaken brought the Scorn, which but you're right though, and by and large, other than a lot of infusing enemy types with different abilities, we hadn't really seen a new race of enemies.
It looked like we saw icy versions of those enemies, right? Like when they're showing Europa, it looks like they're going to do the same thing, but these guys now have ice sort of attributes attached to them.
I don't know, but I hope it goes beyond that. I really hope that that's what they're still holding out on revealing, is that we see some new enemy types. You know, for me, when I play Destiny, it's that I know where to shoot a lot of stuff already, right? Like you shoot the juice box in the middle of the robot, and you shoot this one in the head, and if you shoot this one in the shield, and like as a seasoned Destiny player, it becomes so
monotonous, right?
Yeah, it's just because you already know that route. You know, it's already, there's nothing enlightening about that experience. So I really hope, you know, even if they add new power types, yes, you find a new place to shoot, but I hope they do something a little more dramatic this fall. I do think this new subclass gives us that potential that it could really feel different with a lot of enemies, but we'll see.
Okay. Final thoughts, guys?
Oh man, I don't know.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it looks cool. I'm glad. I think it's, again, for me, somebody who's a lapsed Destiny player, it's enough that I want to play. Like, if you guys were down to play something else in there tonight, since Francis were too weak to go in there, or blueberries or whatever.
I would love to take, if you guys want to try.
I'll down with something right now if you want. No, I don't need to try that thing. I need to try the tough one.
Come on, blueberries. Come on.
So then I'm going to skip games daily. Let's jump right in, get you leveled up.
Yeah, exactly. Grind.
Kevin's been talking every once in a while.
Actually, Greg, I don't know.
I lowered the stream volume because I was watching their version.
Kevin actually
would talk. I didn't know he was actually talking.
That was the first thing he said in a while.
Gotcha. Okay.
But during the scream, I was saying some stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing any of that.
Oh, that's awesome. Poor Kevin. Greg, I did want to ask. I don't know if we still have time for this part, because I still need explaining to me what the Destiny content vault stuff, the Disney vault, if you will. Yes. I'm trying to understand mechanically. Did they? Because they're pulling stuff out of the game, right?
Right.
Because they want to make it smaller.
Certain activities won't be available. Yeah.
Yeah. But then
when
they said
they're stuff in, they'll take stuff and vault it. But then once it's vaulted, it means it can be unvaulted for another, months, years later.
Right. But then when they unvault this old stuff, they're just saying it will be part of the main overall experience. It's not going to be like a separate thing.
No, it won't be a separate game. It would just be like a limited time of like, oh, we brought back whatever mission from Destiny 1 or from a Destiny 2 thing that's been vaulted. It's unvaulted for however many weeks or whatever they choose while we vault something else.
Everybody go buy Pocahontas on Blu-ray. It's unvaulted this time, and then it'll go away eventually.
From the Disney vault.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they said coming in year 4, the very first, if I caught that right as well, coming in year 4, which is this coming year, the Vault of Glass. That's the very first raid. People have been asking for a remastering, so to speak, of that, and that sounds like what they're doing. But yeah, I stumbled on that one because they were like, we're going to remove stuff. And we're bringing a ton of stuff back and I was like, wait, I was trying to figure out
think of it as a rotating carousel. They're gonna, things get on, things get off.
I'm more excited to see Lance Reddick get back in. Like, I love all these videos that Lance Reddick posts on Twitter where he's like,
he's so good.
Just a lazy Saturday morning and going to play some Destiny. It's like, God, you're the best, dude.
He is the best.
You're the fucking best.
Well, Fran, you got to run, get Games Daily ready, because Imran's going to need you to re-explain all this to him. People in the chat are saying that, of course, if you go to Bungie.net, they have a whole bunch of different stuff up there in terms of explaining a little bit more.
Rushing to read through that,
I need to fix my green flickering bullshit. This new webcam, I'm just pissed off, Greg.
You know what I mean? This is, one of the
Sick
reasons.
of it.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you can focus on clicking the heads and tearing to shreds if you're doing this,
Piss me off, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of Destiny 2? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching over on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, hey, and if you're watching on YouTube and listening to this podcast or whatever, remember, this is far from our only live reaction this week. Of course, Thursday is the big day, 1 p.m., the PlayStation 5 event. We will be live streaming twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. You can come watch along with us. If you want to watch somewhere else, you should tune in immediately following it, because we'll be recording a live episode of PS I Love You XOXO with our reactions and everything else. Plus, remember, Friday, 12:01 a.m. Pacific time, The Last of Us Part 2 review post as a Kind of Funny Games cast on podcast services and youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. So, tons to do, tons to see. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.